what our slavery
Guys,
was like.
The
People don't
conversation
know
it was
the
going so
information.
well. BGP,
guys,
can she just show the source?
It's wild that people are going to overspeak Native people when it comes to our own history and tell us how our enslavement was here and that they were not in playing and start the oppression Olympics. Because I know what Kit Kat does.
wait, guys.
Hold on. Let me say
Wait,
something.
guys, I
Let me
just
say
want to say
something.
something. Wait, quickly, I just want to say
No,
something. I just want to say something
All right,
quickly.
Marty is speaking.
Kit
Thank you.
Kat
Go ahead.
plays
Go ahead.
oppression Olympics.
The
Guys,
host is
Marty is
speaking.
Not
Y'all need to
even from the
mute. The
United
host,
States.
Guys, wait. I
Marty,
just
you
want
might
to
have
say
to show
something.
time.
Know
I don't
nothing
know how to
about.
do that.
the host is speaking.
Thank you. I just want to say something. Kit Kat is just speaking about African people. She's not speaking about natives. She's just speaking about the enslavement of African people, but she's not speaking about natives. She's bringing up a source from
Bringing up a source.
credible university.
You were on the panel. You were on the panel for hours before.
We're
Her
gonna show
information.
time quickly. We're gonna show time.
Okay.
GGP, stop muting me. This is
We're
not
gonna
your
show
panel.
time.
Stop muting me.
I don't know how to
No,
show
you
time.
shut up.
Somebody show
You
time.
shut up. Stop muting me, weirdo.
Guys, come on, polite.
I can cuss you out.
Both.
No, stop muting me. You
We're
dropped
muting
me
each
first,
other the
weird
whole
ass
time.
bitch.
But both of you guys.
No, you dropped me, bitch.
You might have to
Weirdo,
start
weird ass
kicking people
bitch.
out because it's
Stop,
now
stop,
becoming
stop,
We're
stop,
not, we're not getting anywhere with this.
You're weird and you're
I don't know how
xenophobic
to
as
drop.
shit and you're anti-nigger.
Hey, hold on.
You're already wrong in your information.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you for putting it on Showtime. I did not know how.
I don't know how either,
Okay.
to be honest.
Think. We'll put it on Showtime because I didn't know how. Yeah, think and speak as well. I think I unmuted. Like, let's calm down, guys. Let's just.
Yeah, let's calm down. I want this to be a civil debate, like it says on Marty's background, civil debate. Whatever beef you got on any other live, do not, and I repeat, do not bring it here or Marty will kick you off. Period. Let's talk about the topic, stay on topic.
And think is
Thank
up
you,
next. So
everyone.
think. I sent you an invite to speak. I don't know how to do anything, guys, on this thing. I don't know how to run it. Yeah. So think, speak. You can speak. I sent you an invite. Think.
Yeah, hey, I just wanted to read my source. I don't even, like, me personally, I don't really speak to that woman, so I don't know why she has an issue with me. With her saying I'm anti-indigenous is, like, very irrelevant, and that's a personal issue. So I wanted to read my source. Can we actually end Showtime? Because I would need more than 45 seconds to read my source.
I like. You can just read it, friend. Just read it. Just read it. You can just read it.
No, I'm saying I would need more than 30
guys-
seconds to read it, which is why I never wanted to go on Showtime in the first time. So.
Okay, like, are we guys like promise me you guys are not gonna overtalk each other, please?
Yeah, I just want to read
So
my
hold
source.
on, Kit Kat, before you go, hold on. So hold on. Before you go, I'm gonna give everybody is 2 minutes a good amount of time for everybody?
I think it's better if we could just all be like adults and like allow people to read their sources.
Yeah, but I don't want
without
anyone to
being on
get dropped
Showtime.
and muted.
I mean, we're both moderators, so if she drops me again, I'll just drop her again. It's not that serious.
Yeah, you know, I want to
Okay.
say something.
Yeah.
Before you get started, hold on. Before you get started, I want to say this because this like kind of feel like I'm starting to get a headache. Number one, let me explain something, and this is gonna work both ways because this is the honest to truth. This is honest truth. You have some people, and I'm addressing this going both ways. One, you do have some people that are very anti-black. Let's just keep that honest and real. Just the same as we have some people that are anti-native. But to put like one way, it's not one way because we got people on both sides. I'm going to put that right there. The next thing that I want to actually cover and talk about, the best people to talk about their people and what their ancestors have gone through is actually black people. Like I'm a black woman. I need to be speaking about my people. I don't speak on Native American stuff. I'm not Native. No disrespect to any Native American in here, but I don't have any business speaking on that. And I feel like it should go that way too. Just so everybody knows that. Any type of issues or disrespect that any one of you have on this panel, please, can you not just bring it, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. Please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I completely agree with Think. I think we need to all just be adults, and be able to. Who trained me? What's going on? Yeah, I think we just all need to be adults. We need to be mature, have the conversation, and like not bring up old random issues that are tangential. So let me read the source again. So this is coming from Brown University. This is published by Dr. Matthew Wills. It's entitled "When Native Americans Were Slaves." And the source actually talks about Native American and African slavery. Obviously, what I'm focusing is African slavery. And please, once again, I'm reading a source. I'm not reading my own opinion. I'm not inserting my own opinion into historical facts. So while indigenous Americans were enslaved, while indigenous Americans were enslaved as a labor system by the Spanish under the encomienda and hacienda system, right, which is pretty much like a large plantation style agricultural system, while they were enslaved as a labor force under the Spanish, they were not predominantly enslaved for labor commodity. Let me read this source. Let me read this book right here. Okay, so this is once again from Brown University, published in JSTOR, When Native Americans Were Slaves. And it says here, as Guasco notes, Indian slavery and African slavery remained distinct in the minds of the early colonialists. There was little ambiguity about the morality of enslaving Africans. The demand for labor was great, and a race-based plantation system fit the bill. All through the 17th century, continues Guasco, the creeping encroachment of plantation slavery amongst the English in the Americas and the racialization of non-European peoples proceeded apace. But when it came to indigenous peoples, the English were deeply ambivalent. Initially, English colonial promoters painted native peoples as natural allies against the Spanish, claiming they were indeed akin to the English. Okay? Now let me scroll down. It says here, the Native Americans were still weren't as dehumanized as Africans, at least not yet. The Pequots sent to Nicaragua, the Pequots are an indigenous group, sent to Nicaragua after King Philip's War, were supposed to be redeemed by their bondage. This was a kind of slavery deeply rooted in English society where bondage was a realistic, punitive, and rehabilitative institution. So that was the source that I wanted to read. And the reason why the source was important is because it's talking about the distinctions between the slavery that was practiced against enslaved Africans and those that were practiced against enslaved indigenous Americans. Because I felt like the treatment of both groups was being equated here, and the enslavement of both groups were not the same. Yes, some indigenous people were enslaved as a labor source, however, not most. Most Europeans saw slavery for the indigenous as something that could forcibly assimilate them into the folds of whiteness. However, with Black Africans, slavery was purely a labor system. There was no idea of assimilating Black Africans into whiteness, and the slavery that was practiced against Black Africans, right, was more socially and legally protected under the framework of whitey supremacy. So everything I said is according to the source, and I respect anyone to disagree with me, but just pull up a source that disputes what I'm saying. Yeah.
So first of all,
VGP, you are up
National
now.
Olympics is just wild. That's
you are
number
up.
one. Number one, playing a Prussian Olympics is wild. Number two, that source has already been disputed by several other sources. Read The American Holocaust. Read the book The Other Slavery. Read On Savage Shores. All of these. I've let you speak, so hush now.
Don't ever tell me to hush in your life. I don't know if you're stupid, but don't ever tell me to hush.
Guys, hold up.
So again, I let you speak. I stayed on mute. So stay on mute. Plain and simple. Now, with that being said, she came up here saying that she was going to speak on the African part of the source, and all she did was play Oppression Olympics and speak on the quote-unquote native part of the source. Native historians, have disputed this several times. That's actually a very low estimate of the amount of natives because of the fact that they did not purchase us in the same way because it was technically illegal. So we went through a lot of illegal slavery that was not documented over here. This is what I have a problem when people are not from these lands and then want to speak on our history as if they know this history. And it's not even that she's a descendant of people who were stolen here. She's not a descendant of people who were stolen here.
I have a question.
And then she speaks native people when it comes to this.
So why are you speaking on black?
The sources.
I have a question. Give me.
Because you're not black.
I'm not
So
done. Why does everybody get to cut me off?
I just have a question. Do you have that American Holocaust source of any kind, any screenshots?
No, I only have it on audiobook, but we do play it on my live every day if you'd like to come and listen to it and be educated in actual native history.
Okay, BGP,
instead of people over here just taking one source as is. So because people don't listen to
BGP,
why are you muting?
BGP, can you put can you write it in the comments and then pin it? Please.
What the book is called? American Holocaust.
Yeah, then you just put
yes, I can put it in the comments. However, when people try to tell Native people what our history is and how bad our enslavement was or our treatment was, it's crazy work. Crazy work. Because you don't know. You don't know what has been completely whitewashed in our history. You don't know what has been completely erased from our history. A lot of people didn't even know Native Americans were enslaved up until the last 10 years. That's when people started finding out we were even enslaved. Now people are starting to find out how deeply rooted and how embedded and how bad it actually was. So to sit here and then come up here and say, I was only going to talk about the African part of the source, and you completely played Oppression Olympics with what happened over here with Native people.
That's what Maddie said.
What?
No, but Maddie, I never said that. I said I was coming up here because I felt like the indigenous...
You don't get to say what you feel.
Wait, guys, let's not mute anybody now. Let's not mute anybody. Let's just
yeah, because she keeps speaking like I can't mute her back. Like what?
I'm not even muting you.
You muted me multiple
I keep
times.
getting muted. So like, what are you talking about? And
you muted me
I didn't cut
times.
you off.
Go ahead.
So it's, to me, yeah, it is crazy work that somebody is coming up here and thinking that they can speak on a history they know nothing of, and then repeating whitewashed versions of history that are not completely accurate because people are now finding the information out. People are now finally reading what the conquistadors were saying and what they did. You want to know what they were doing to the Taino people? They were feeding them to dogs. They were literally BBQing babies. Like, don't sit here and tell me that we weren't treated very good and we were treated better than African people. No, that's not what happened at all.
I never.
You can't sit here and tell me.
I never said you were treated better, weirdo.
G-side, 90% of my people that are enslavement was, just a little bit better. It wasn't.
I never said that.
It wasn't. It doesn't even make sense.
You're putting words in my mouth because I never said that.
I didn't put you. You literally played Oppression.
Don't mute anybody, please, guys. Don't mute anybody.
Black people were treated worse in slavery than indigenous people.
Actually, that's not what I said.
You didn't. We were chattel slavery too, dear.
I read a source.
We were chattel slavery as well. And it was fully illegal for 400 plus years while they still continue to enslave us even after Emancipation Proclamation.
Like, girl, you are listening to what
please
you want
stop
to hear.
the BS.
You're listening to what you want to hear. You're listening to what you want to hear.
I'm not listening.
No, you're cannonballing into conclusions.
That's what you said.
To let people finish their thoughts.
Don't mute each other. Don't mute each other.
I'm not muting anybody.
No.
Can we get back on topic? Can we get back on topic, please? Because I feel like it snowballed from what Alan Nair said in the comments into this entire discussion of who got treated worse, who didn't. Can we just get back to the original topic?
And actually, this is what I hate, because people are putting words in my mouth. When I was speaking and I read my source, I never once said, oh, Black Africans were treated much worse. What I said was that the forms of slavery that were practiced against indigenous people and Black African people were distinct. meaning they were different. No form of slavery is good. All forms of slavery are inhumane. The principle of owning another person is inhumane. So all forms of slavery are wrong. But when I said that there was a primary difference because the slavery against Africans was primarily a labor source, and the slavery against indigenous Americans was used in many senses by Europeans as a way that was a punitive rehabilitation or a forcible assimilation. I never said one slavery was better than the other. Girl, weren't you just bitching about me cutting you off? I never said one slavery was better than the other. Like, what are we talking about?
Hold on, but that's where you're wrong because we
I'm reading the source,
we had the same type of slavery as African people.
I'm reading the source.
And I don't care what your source says. You're over speaking somebody who is from here, and you are not even from
I
here.
don't care what you
That's
said.
my problem.
You know,
Somebody pin the source. Somebody pin the source. Pin
So
the source.
again, I'm not going to sit here
the issue is that source was written by indigenous
American and
scholars.
who think they can overspeak Native people.
Wait, indigenous scholars are the
okay
ones
at
who
all.
worked on the source. Indigenous
And now
historians
I'm being
worked on the
silenced
source.
because I'm speaking up for my people. That's fucking crazy. That is fucking crazy.
Girl.
That is fucking crazy.
The source was published by indigenous historians.
And I'm telling you that there are more updated sources, and I gave them
At
to
this
you.
point, you
And you're
didn't
still
show
sitting
shit
here
though, but you
thinking
didn't
you
show
can
anything.
overspeak me
You
on
didn't
my
show
people's
anything though,
history.
but you didn't
Are
show
you
anything.
insane?
You didn't. Are you insane? You didn't show shit.
Guys, one at a time. I'll let both of I'll get both of you up again, one at a time, please. Because you guys need to get over the tension so that you can all work together.
Marty, listen to me. You gotta take powers away from everyone because it's becoming too much now.
Wait, not me, because I've been very
He
fair.
was dropped.
I've been very fair, Maddie.
Yeah, I did not drop BGP, and Maddie can see that on his end. I was the first person who was dropped, and I think that's one of BGP's homegirls in the comments. Henny Sara, girl, you're weird as fuck.
Everybody,
weird
like,
Shut up.
everybody,
Like,
knows.
you come up here and you play a personal Olympics with people, and it's crazy.
BGP, Kit Kat.
We have to get back on topic.
Hey, I just want to say this because I didn't get the chance to really chime in
Wait,
yet.
call me John. Let's not center yourself right now. We are dealing with Kit Kat and BGP that needs to come to.
Maddie, do you want to? Maddie, I think this should go into Showtime.
I think
Hold on, John. Hold
I'm just
on.
going to say one thing, and then I'm going to drop.
Hold on. Can we, Maddie? I think we should go into Showtime so they can both get equal time to speak.
Can we let
It was in relation to what Kit Kat was saying.
I'm just going to say one thing, and I'm going to drop. Because I'm going to say one thing, and I'm going to drop. It's that simple. It's very wild to me. It's very wild to me that people want to sit here and overspeak Native people about their history. It's knowing that people have completely whitewashed their history. Not only that, but that source has been updated by several sources that I have given you. The underestimation of indigenous slavery is crazy. We were used for labor. Read the history of the Southwest. Understand what genizoros are. Understand what they did in the mines in Mexico. Understand what they were doing in the mines in South America. So please do not sit here and say that indigenous people were only used for punitive reasons and
That's not what I said.
We were used for
That's not
labor
what I
as well.
said. That's
I'm not
not what I
done, and
said.
I'm dropping after this.
I
So
don't
stop
care
cutting me off.
Like, don't cut anybody off. Don't interrupt anyone.
He's saying words
Stop
I
cutting
never
me
said.
off. Stop
He's saying
gaslighting
things
me
I
because you
never
said what you said and
you're
everybody
saying
heard
I
it.
never said.
Why can't I finish so I can just leave?
said that. Weirdo, I never said that.
Rebuttal afterwards.
Can I please just finish?
No, but she needs to
She's
stop.
not gonna. She's gonna.
Please.
All right, but tell her to stop saying things I never
She's gonna
said.
keep cutting me off because she knows what she said.
Let her just have a.
So I'm done because it's wild that a Native person is being silenced and muted and then told to bring sources about their own history to dispute somebody who was not even a descendant of African slaves from here. Like she's not even from here to even know any of our history. She's got to pull up a source that is completely outdated and then speak over us. Our people, Common sense and logic says if they genocide 90% of the people, they are also enslaving them and treating them as chattel, just as they were doing. There was not worse, it was not better. They were doing the same thing to you guys as they were doing to us. Period, point blank. You want to play oppression Olympics. Stop minimizing our genocide. Stop minimizing our trauma. Stop minimizing our pain, especially if you are not from here. And I'm done. And it's crazy that people overspoke me as a Native person and thought they knew more about my history. It's insane. Have a fucking day. A bunch of hypocrites.
Excellent.
I have a question. I
Can I
have a
respond
question.
to
White guys, white guys.
No, be quiet. No, because you've been talking. First of all, I want to make a correction to what she just said. First of all, I never spoke anything about nothing on Native American history. I don't know how many times I have to keep reminding you that just dropped that I don't speak on that because it has nothing to do with me. It's no disrespect. Okay, I don't have no business speaking on that history. But I also feel the same way that you shouldn't speak on African history, but you did, right? And I was respectful about that. So that should work both ways. You don't speak on African history, and you, Kit Kat, stop speaking on their history. Period. Point blank.
No, Pink, you're not making sense.
Oh, I know. So this goes. It goes for everybody. Just right now, because I'm tired of it. I'm really tired of it. And then she wanted to talk about the American Holocaust, and I'm like, this is not my people. What about the Holocaust that went on in the Congo? You know, that's the kind of things that I think about, that I talk about. I'm not talking about that. And it's no disrespect to anybody. But please do not group me in with anybody saying that I'm speaking on Native American history. Please don't do that. Please don't do that, because I never have and I never will.
Can I respond since the comments were made about me and not Think? Yeah, and I don't really know what your issue is with me. The reason I came up, right? The reason I even came up in the first place was because she was making comments about the enslavement of Africans, and she was trying to compare it to the enslavement of Native Americans and make it seem like those two things were the same thing.
Well, I don't think she was reading it.
No, that's what I was hearing. Wait, Maddie, let me finish.
Like what I was hearing.
Maddie, let me finish. Let me finish.
No, I just want to tell you what I was hearing.
You didn't cut her off. No, let me finish, Maddie. You didn't cut her off. Maddie, let me finish. And then you just tell me after, because I've been waiting and I had to wait for Think to say what she wanted to say as well. So what I came up and did, I didn't say my own opinion on Native American enslavement. I pulled up a source from Brown University. Like, I didn't come up and say my own opinion about it. And here's the issue. I never said that Indigenous Americans were not enslaved as a labor force. When I first came up, didn't I literally say that Indigenous Americans were enslaved as a labor force under the Spanish in the encomienda and hacienda system, but under the British, they were not primarily used for labor? Isn't that literally what I said from the fucking beginning? And that's literally in the source that I read, and I could read the source again, and that's exactly what it says. I never said that you were not a labor source. I said that was not the primary purpose of your enslavement. Versus for enslaved Africans, my people, labor was the primary purpose of our enslavement in a racialized, race-based system. So I was pointing out the differences between the two slaveries. No slavery is better than the other. Like, what are we talking about? I never said the words, oh, Indigenous people were treated better, their slavery was better.
Let's have Madi chime in now. Okay. Go ahead, Madi.
Like you didn't compare it. You just read a study. You read the study. PGP rebutted, and she said the study was outdated, and she gave you American Holocaust book that rebuttals the study that you gave. But it's also, you are speaking about Native American and African enslavement. But the two of them do have intersections. So it's impossible to speak about the one and not about the other. But it's also respectful to not overindulge in Native history and let a Native person speak about, like, go in detail about their history, and a Native person needs to go in like not overspeak an African person and let an African let an African go into detail about their history. So it's just giving one another a chance to actually embellish on their history and the suffering of their people. the plight of their people. So
Yeah,
it's just
here's the issue though. If she doesn't want me to speak about indigenous Americans, if the source didn't mention,
she doesn't want like it's the detail.
yeah, and I get it, but it's like I heard her speaking about African enslavement, and I heard her saying things that were incorrect about the enslavement of
That's
my
why I
people.
was saying that's why like
with a
you
source.
let someone say like you let someone speak into the entirety of the thought, and then rebuttal afterwards. They like content afterwards just so that they can get the entire thought across and not jump to any conclusion in both ends.
And just to add on, hold on, Alanair, just to add on, she to be fair, she wasn't necessarily speaking about African enslavement. Again, this was a snowball effect from what this comment that Alan Nair's made minutes, like 30 plus minutes ago in the comments, and Think responded to her, and we brought Alan Nair's up to explain, because Alan Nair's had made a statement which was a fallacy, and she said all cultures had a form of enslavement. So what BGP's point and Think's point, they were actually in agreement, was chattel slavery was not the same as enslaving a person or indentured servitude. That's how the whole conversation began. So she wasn't necessarily speaking about African enslavement. She was just speaking about slavery, chattel slavery in general.
I mean, she said a lot of things that were incorrect regardless.
Yeah,
right? And in doing so, she was...
Then rebuttal her afterwards.
But then it's like, here's the thing, and I would have rebutted her afterwards, but she kept saying, oh, she just said that indigenous slavery was better. I never said that, so don't put words in my mouth. You could make your own point. You could say, I disagree with her source and pull up your own source. That's fine. Don't ever tell me that I said that indigenous people were treated better and that their slavery wasn't as bad, because I never said that. I read a source and I said it was different. Things can be different and both still be bad and atrocious and unbearable for the people who are victims of them. Are we not realizing that? Like, if I point out the difference and how what happened to my people was different, is that a problem? Did I say that what happened to your people didn't matter?
It's not a problem. It's I see where both of you are coming as well. It's because it's not a problem because you are speaking upon your people, but when there is an intersection between between the two different peoples, when there are intersections, kind of gloss over the native intersection just so that you don't speak upon their people like the same they need to gloss over the African.
I wasn't glossing over
No, I'm asking you to gloss over it so that they can speak on their people.
Right.
Then they can do the exact same. Gloss over,
and I agree.
So then it doesn't then there is no you letting a native person speak on native things and a native person speaking an African person. So then it's a camaraderie instead of a contention.
Yeah, and people keep saying, "Oh, I'm anti-native, I'm anti-this," and it's just like, I can't really respond to that because that's really irrelevant to me. But getting back onto the point, I did hear multiple things that were like historically incorrect. For example, when I think it was her. I'm glad she's actually back.
Okay, let's.
Okay, I'm gonna drop off before just to give someone else space to talk.
Aileen, let's not interrupt. Let's not interrupt while your women are speaking right now. They have a point of contention which they need to come to an understanding because they're both intellectual people. They are both intelligent women that can overcome this misunderstanding.
Yeah, so I'm glad you actually came back to engage in the conversation. So the source was published in 2022. It was first published in 2021, then it was updated in 2022. So I don't think the source was outdated. But moving on from that point, what I was saying, once again, BGP, you put words in my mouth that I never said. What I said was not that indigenous Americans were treated better in their slavery. Saying that an enslaved person is being treated than another enslaved person is objectively moot when both are enslaved, both are being subjected, right, to oppression and are not free. So all enslavement across the world is bad. But what I said was that the enslavement that was practiced against indigenous Americans and the enslavement that was practiced against Black Africans, while there was similarities, there were also key distinctions. Yes, indigenous Americans were used as a labor force by the Spanish under the encomienda and hacienda system, which was a large plantation style agriculture system, as I said in the beginning. However, under the British, indigenous Americans who were subjected to slavery were not primarily subjected to slavery for labor, right? They were subjected to labor.
I want to point out something quickly.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to point out something. You see how no, keep your mic on because this is a conversation. Keep your mic on. You see how you spoke on indigenous, even though it's a source. Just gloss over that fact so that the indigenous woman or person can speak on that part.
Yes, and I respect that, but the only reason I'm bringing it up is because she is saying things that I never said. She is saying that I said that what happened to indigenous people was better when I never said that. I said it was different. Okay. Two things can be different and both still be bad. Difference means there was a difference. It doesn't mean anyone was more humane or anyone was better.
I'm sure BGP, you can keep on your mic, but you can keep on your mic as well.
And I actually do want to have her respond to what I said. Because Maddie has the live recording, so he can, when the live ends, we can all listen to the recording on his next live. So I do want BGP to unmute because I do want to actually ask her a question.
Have a conversation
Yeah, I want to have an actual conversation.
Where each other's coming from, because right now you guys need unity and not separation.
I'm gonna send her an invitation to unmute because okay. Oh, she muted herself again.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. The muckraker who started this has now gone and has spread confusion throughout the panel.
That's what I keep saying.
That's why I just ignored her.
That's what I just said.
I just ignored, and I wanted BGP and Kika to sort it out because
Maddie, BGP didn't necessarily say, in my opinion, anything wrong.
Both of them didn't
she
say
corrected
anything wrong.
What Alanair said.
Yes, both of them didn't say anything wrong. That's the point. But it's because obviously they have history. Obviously that's why they have history. But
so yeah, I was literally, I didn't speak specifically on the enslavement of African people. What it is though, what the problem is chattel across the board. And what I'm trying to say, even if you want to say there's a difference between British enslavement and Spanish enslavement, there really wasn't. Indigenous people were enslaved by the British and they were used to work. They were used as domestic servants. They were used as a labor force in the East Coast. They were. And to sit there and dismiss that they were and said that the British didn't enslave them, they only punished them, is wrong. It's they literally took people from the East Coast and trafficked them to the Caribbean.
Okay.
They literally took people from the East Coast and took them all the way to Europe. Do we not know the story of Matoaka or who everybody calls Pocahontas?
Did I say that the British did not enslave indigenous Americans? I never said that. I never said the British did not enslave.
I'm responding to what you said about how there was differences between the encomienda system with the Spaniards and their labor force and what the British did with the Native Americans here.
I literally
I'm telling you that's incorrect. I'm telling you that they did.
Responding to what I said.
Please stop speaking over me. I let you speak.
Girl, you're not responding to what I said. You're saying
I am responding. Now I'm being gaslit. This is crazy.
Nobody's being gaslit right now. Both of you
I am, because she specifically said that there was a difference between what the British did and how they enslaved indigenous people, indigenous Americans, and then she made a distinction between the Spanish and their encomienda labor force of indigenous people with the Spaniards. So, and I'm trying to say that the British also used Native Americans as a labor force. It wasn't just out of what she said, out of punishment and assimilation. It was also out of a labor force. They used them to work in the fields. They used them to work in the households. When they were getting sick and dying, they started replacing them with enslaved Africans. So please stop minimizing what the enslavement of indigenous Americans were. I never said our enslavement was worse or better. I said chattel was chattel, and that the enslavement of African people and indigenous people were the same. They used us for labor. They dehumanized us. They beat us. They assimilated us. They did all of that things to all of us.
Like, you're not responding to anything I said.
I did though.
No, you're not. You're not
Oh my
responding to what
God.
I said. You're trying to put words in my mouth.
You can't have a conversation when I responded directly to what she said.
All right, can we let the host?
No, don't
learn from the African community when it comes to what happened with chattel slavery and enslaved Africans being brought over to the Americas. With that being said, this is where my problem is. Kit Kat, you are specifically trying to speak on specific Native history and specific Native enslavement, which you are then turning around and telling us as Native people that there is this distinction that there really isn't. What I'm trying to tell you is that if we can agree that chattel slavery is chattel slavery, that means they were enslaving us for our entire lives. They were also enslaving our children and our grandchildren as well. They were using us as a labor force. They were dehumanizing as well. They were doing everything. They were doing what they were doing to
similarities, and they are crossed out.
Indigenous people here. And for you, who is, and my issue is, you're not even descendants of enslaved Africans here in the Americas.
But that's not your place to speak on, because you're not black.
BGP,
But now you're overspeaking because you're not black.
I was going to explain.
You're not black, so watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
No, Kit Kat, you don't have to. I can do that. Kit Kat, you don't have to. I corrected Kit Kat on her.
At the end of the day, it's people who are speaking on specific history that is not of their own, and then trying to tell us that we're wrong about our own.
And you're doing
but PGP, like I corrected her.
Why do I keep getting
wait, because I want to say something quickly. Like how I corrected her on her over speaking about Native history.
But she's not stopping. That's the point.
But her over speaking on Native history. But that's why the jabs. Like both of you guys, it's a jab. Like even though like BGP, like even though Kit Kat is she's not of the enslaved people of the Americas.
If I were to start specifically talking about
wait, Justice, I want to hear. Even though if she's not a part of the slave, she's still African.
Why do I keep getting muted? Who keeps muting me?
But Kit Kat is still African, and Kit Kat is also of the people that are enslaved.
If I were to start, you guys literally just said you shouldn't be speaking on African history. I agree.
Yes.
I wasn't speaking on specific African history. I'm also not going to
like that.
Hold on. I'm also not going to
black. Don't comment on black issues
and telling them that they are wrong about their own.
Okay, so then don't
that is what is
wrong about what I said.
Okay, yes. Now we came to that. Both of you guys are not going to speak on each other. So PGP, you are going to speak on like the jab that Kit Kat is not from the enslaved people, but Kit Kat is of the enslaved tribe of those people that have. So she has a knowledge to that. So that's why.
But she doesn't because
yes, I do, bro. You're overstepping your bounds. Wait, let me
part of the Yoruba people.
Know your place.
I
feel like I want to try it.
Let's to know your place.
Wait.
You're overstepping. You don't know your place. You gotta fall back.
Wait, both of you guys, because you came to a point of understanding and then the jab started again.
I'm not jabbing.
No, both of you guys. Both of you guys.
That's the point. I'm not speaking on African people's history in Africa.
No,
I'm not, and I would never do that.
If I make a personal jab, I can make a few personal jabs.
Justice,
but now I can make a few personal jabs. I can make quite a few personal jabs as well.
No. Don't start with me.
Kit Kat.
Think and Justice is going to speak so that you can both can calm down. BGP, come back up, please.
I just wanted to say that I don't think she
I
seems
want to
to.
make a quick comment real quick.
Go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear
So
you.
I'm a Puerto Rican American, right? But I have African American heritage. And this could be looked at as personal, anecdotal, whatever, but as someone who does not know information about the African American history, I respect those that do come from Africa who have more knowledge than I do to give me information on it.
Wait, I'm confused.
I just thought
Xavier,
Wait,
we
wait,
can't
wait.
handle that
Confused
now.
too,
We can't handle
Xavier.
confusions now, Xavier. Like it's now.
But African American history is specific. That's American history, not.
We are
Right.
speaking, but like Xavier.
So here's what we're talking about. We're not just talking, but this is what you guys always confuse. You guys think that we're talking about, when I speak, you think I speak about African American history. That's what a lot of people have a contention with. You think I speak about American history. No, I speak about the transatlantic slave trade, which is Black African history, because the people were taken from Africa. 1.1 million Yoruba people were taken out of the Bight of Benin and the Bight of Bonny, my people, and they were taken into the Americas. My people, Black Africans, those were the people who were enslaved in America. I'm not going to explain why I speak about the transatlantic slave trade, which is not just about African Americans, but it's about Black Africans, Afro-Caribbean people, and Afro-Latinos. I'm not going to explain myself to a non-Black, non-African, because if we want to make personal
He get no jabs.
no,
He get no
because if we
jabs.
want to
No
do that, we
jabs.
Well, she
can. And we
didn't
know we
take any
can.
jobs, so why would
She
that
did,
comment
Indigenous. I'm not
even be
speaking to you. Once
made?
again, Indigenous Chicana, are you a Black African descendant?
Are you giving me
No, you
permission
played.
to talk?
No
I'm
jabs.
talking about her. She
Okay.
didn't take any
Okay,
jobs
hold
at
on.
you. What
Oh
are you
yeah, she
talking
did.
about?
And when we want to take jobs,
No,
I
she
want to take
didn't.
jobs too. So what's up? Like what's up?
Oh, shut up. You
No,
and the
you
boss.
shut
He's
up.
so tough in the boss.
Indigenous
You shut up.
Chicana. Indigenous Chicana.
Who are you
He
talking
get
to?
highball. Both of you guys. Please, Lulubel, can you please speak?
This is too much.
There's a lot of confusion here, and to be perfectly honest, I've heard so much here that the bottom line is they got us all under their thumb. Period. End of discussion.
Think, please.
And I'm not gonna keep dealing with people that don't know their place.
Okay, so I want to say something about that. Honestly speaking, I don't care. People can get upset, but she was what was her name? Brown. She was wrong. She doesn't want anyone to speak about Native American history, even though she said she was talking about things that were widely known about African American history. Again, she's not African American, so don't speak on that, right? So that's why I'm like, I just want to just end all this right here, right now, because we should all have a headache on this panel, because the person that started all this confusion is no longer on the panel to begin with, right?
Thank you.
And she's the one that started it, and she's Cuban American, and she did not know the distinction. How we got here, for the people that are in this live, let me explain it. How we got here is because she was trying to equate indentured servitude to chattel slavery. This is how we got here. And at that time, the only people that were on the panel was like myself, Brown, and that individual, the Cuban American girl. I don't even remember her name. That's how we got there. And for you indigenous mamas, I never said they should know their place. I've never said that. You should address that to the person that said that specifically. Anyway, but that's how we got here, and that's how all this confusion came about. We weren't even talking about that prior to her, and she was saying all kinds of mess in these comments, and then Justice Florence, because that's her mutual, invited her on the panel, and that's how we got here. Me, I'm not going to speak about Native American history. I'm not Native American. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. There's no disrespect to any Native American that happens to be in this live. I don't have any hatred for any of you, but that's just not me. I'm going to speak about African history. I'm going to speak about history of the islands dealing with African descent people. I want to talk about history that's dealing with African American history, people of African descent in the United States. You understand? That's the kind of history I'm interested in. And we need to get back on the topic, by the way, Kit Kat, because I seen you come off your mic.
That's what I was gonna say. Think. Do we have like a problem? Because I literally was gonna say let's get back on topic.
No problem. Come on, Kit Kat. You know I don't have no issues with you now. Come on now.
Yeah, I know. It's just the energy in here is throwing me off so bad, and I hate like it's just so much that's going on right now. You know, it's too much that's going on, truly. But listen, and here's what I came in. I didn't know what precipitated the whole situation. I didn't know what Alanier came up to say. Ooh, I don't know who dropped her. When I came up, I heard a non-black person speaking about black topics and black issues. So if that's the case, then what's the issue if I bring up a source about the distinctions?
I don't really want to be biased, right? Because I wasn't really trying to make no commentary, but I didn't really gather either, Kit Kat. That's what you were like trying to say. I think you were just trying to make a distinction between like between a specific part of like the slaveries, but I don't yeah, because I also have a book and I've actually read something similar to what you were saying. I mean, like indigenous peoples most certainly were enslaved here, but
didn't I say that they were enslaved multiple times?
No.
I'm saying you acknowledge that. I'm saying I've read that.
Y'all are hard of hearing. I said, let's get back on the topic. It's enough. The person who caused all this confusion is gone. Let's just get back on the topic, please.
Oh, you're right. You're completely right. I mean, the topic is, I guess, on.
There's two topics.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do the other one that's a trigger word. I'm gonna do you